Well, Clark Stork here again, joined by, last but not least, of our 5 inductees into the Golf Saskatchewan Hall of Fame, Mr. Ken Rodgers, obviously a longtime Regina guy, and the one guy that maybe could probably go in as a player and a builder in this year's class. So we're going to get to that, Ken. But the last 2 times we've done interviews, it's just been talking about senior championships for you. We've never really got to learn about your start in the game. So I do want to start there. How did you get into the game of golf, and where did it all start for you?
Started really, pretty young. Started at 8 years old, and my dad would take me out to the golf course, and I'd caddy for him on Sunday morning, and pull the cart around, and we'd get to the 14th hole at the Regina Club, which used to be about 112 yards or 114 yards. I'd get to hit my one shot of the day, probably a 4-wood or something, and get my milkshake at the turn, and milkshaker plate of fries after the round, and that made my day. So it was just a pretty special start. And nice thing was he played with a group of guys that were all they weren't necessarily great golfers, but they really paid attention to the etiquette of the game, and it really always stuck with me that just these guys were just, you don't stand on people's line, you don't talk when somebody's hitting, all that kind of stuff, and really just really sort of set me up for success in the way I present myself on the golf course, I think.
And I think in life as well, and we're going to get to that too with your career and what you do. But was there competitive junior golf, or just looking at?
It was. I was a decent golfer when I was young. There wasn't as many opportunities like MJT and things like that when I was growing up. There wasn't even high school golf at the time. So yeah, I played and won some Regina Golf Club tournaments. It was back then when it was called the Regina Golf Club, or the Regina Golf and Country Club. But never really had, I went in a few provincial junior championships, but never really had tons of success. And even through my early years as an AM playing in the provincial AMs, I always seemed to shoot 80 or 83 the first round, and then struggle to get back into contention. So just so it was a journey for sure.
So I do know you have a couple kids, and you get into that age group where they're busy and maybe you take away from the game a little bit, and that's a similar story for men and women as they progress. But 1995 you make your first team. So was there a lull between kind of your junior days and launching your career, raising your family and whatnot, before you started to see a lot of results and playing on a lot of teams?
Well, one of the biggest lulls was back when I was 18, 19, I had considered becoming a golf professional. I'd made some inquiries into becoming an assistant pro somewhere, whether it be Saskatchewan or Calgary or Edmonton or wherever. And really it was in the fall, and really got the comment that, we're not really looking at anybody till spring. And so get back to us then. And so what happened in between was I ended up working for a company called Marathon Sports in Regina, retail general sporting goods store, and they gave me a job for the winter, and by Christmas they liked me, and they had offered me a job as managing their Moose Jaw sporting goods store that they were going to open. So I moved to Moose Jaw and kind of left golf behind for a while, and you kind of just take the turn in the road, and you never know how it turns out. But I moved to Moose Jaw, and I didn't play a lot of golf for 4 or 5 years while I was in Moose Jaw. I ended up getting, for a couple of years, I got a out of town membership at the Royal Regina, and I played a few rounds of golf at Hillcrest here and there. I had some buddies that I played hockey with in Moose Jaw that I played some golf with, but really didn't play any competitive golf, and didn't care to. I was busy starting a new career as a sporting goods store manager, and really enjoyed that. So yeah, and then like you say, marriage comes along and family comes along, and there's a lot of other things that happen, and so I still continued to play a few. After that I moved to Alberta. And so in Alberta, I didn't know anybody, and my job wasn't in the golf business. So I ended up just playing with customers and things like that. And so really just kind of bumped around a bit and played a lot of golf courses, but didn't play competitively at all. So I guess early 90s is when kind of the competitive stuff started coming back a little bit. And then 95 made my first team, and really just, I think it was a bit of a a factor of getting back into the golf business, spending a lot of time on driving ranges doing fittings and stuff. But in the downtime of driving ranges, sometimes you get to hit a few balls or work on your swing, or even just talk to the local pro who we're doing the fitting day with. And we talk golf swing, we talk impact, we talk club path, and all those different things that you just kind of mess around, and sometimes you just pick up stuff through osmosis that just it's pretty cool to be around a lot of these guys. We have a lot of really talented PGA professionals in the province, and picking up stuff off them is incredible.
And just judging, I presume, I mean, the golf, the skill was always there. I mean, you mentioned you probably played some hockey, and I know you're a pretty good curler as well in the winter. So you always must have had that touch and kept close enough that you could be able to compete once you almost got the juices going or had the time and to be able to do it.
Well, I'm probably a 10 handicap curler. Like, I don't know if I'm an aspirational curler, put it that way. I have played at the provincial level, but I'm still feel like I'm improving, and I got a long ways to go. I curl against guys that have been to the Briar and things like that, and I really look up to them. And so, yeah, I guess there's a sort of I was a competitive racquetball player back in the day, won some championships there, and so there is that sort of hand-eye coordination. And so yeah, I do. I really kind of go along with that adage or whatever, the thought that multi sports are great to excel at any sport. It's good to excel at or be active in many sports in order to excel at one. So.
For sure. I do want to touch on the 100th senior men's championship at the Royal, of course, your club that you spent so many years at, and of course, just a monumental milestone event being the 100th. What did that win mean to you?
Oh, it was really cool. It was the Royal Regina Golf Club as it sits today isn't the same golf course I grew up playing. I grew up playing a golf course that at times would, you'd hit a wedge into a green that the ball would hit the hard pan of the green and rocket off into a back trap somewhere. and you could hit, even when I was a kid, you could hit 275 or 300 yard drives just because the ball would roll forever. A nickname for the Royal back in the day when I was growing up, made fun of by other golfers who weren't members there, called the Regina Golf and Concrete Club. So we, it was it was really cool to be back there. I always enjoyed going back to play at the Royal. There's so many people I know there, a lot of the old faces and stuff. I always see somebody I know, and so it's a very special place. But the golf course itself is so phenomenal now. And it's just wonderful to see that turnaround. Like when I grew up playing there, I'd get dropped off in the morning by my mom, and we'd play 18 holes, then we'd go look for golf balls, we'd have lunch, and then we'd just walk on the first tee and play again in the afternoon, because there really wasn't a very busy golf course. It was struggling for membership, struggling for money. And just it's incredible to see the turnaround now that club has done by the membership, by the board. Full golf course, great golf course conditions, great improvements over the years. But again, it's not the golf course I grew up playing.
Yeah, definitely a premier facility now, good from the clubhouse to everything. It is great. And we are going to get to, the topic of your Hall of Fame induction, but your job is now with Acushnet Golf, and, people probably know more so as Titleist rep. But there's a lot of giving back to the game for you with starting, some sponsorships, getting events going, making sure they keep going. Why is that important to you? And is that more important than, say, going to a national championship with Brad and Colin and the guys?
Well, they're all important. They're all part of, I think, just growing the sport and growing interest and growing participation. And I think I think my job with my company, with Acushnet, which is Titleist and FootJoy, there's an opportunity for us to kind of give back to the game, but at the same time grow the sport. So if we can grow the sport, we can grow our customers too. Like we can grow our business. So it goes hand in hand, that it's win-win for everybody. And so yeah, like I'm proud of starting the Pro Partner Championship that is still played in Saskatchewan, and so that I started that back when I worked for a company called Fletcher Golf, which was Alan Fletcher, and his father was the last Canadian to win the Canadian Open, and so Alan Fletcher was a big supporter and spent some time in Saskatchewan, and so yeah, so it was an honor to kind of be involved in that tournament and get it started, and still see it going today, and to be involved with events like the Pro Junior over the years, and of course the City Am, like in Regina, being involved with Randy Gilowich and John Greeno, and Shannon England has joined us in recent years as our IT expert, and it's just wonderful to kind of be part of that, and there's no energy, like it just comes. It's just fun to do, and I just love organizing things like that just people can then come out and feel like they've kind of been treated a little bit to a special event, and get some first tee gifts, and play a good tournament and get some good prizes, and I just everybody wins.
Yeah, absolutely. So you get the call that you're going to be amongst 5 that are going into the Hall of Fame in 2020. Again, we can't celebrate in person yet, and it's going to be a special night when we finally can. But what's that call mean?
Just I think everybody will tell you that is in there or is nominated that they never started out doing this to be a part of the Hall of Fame. It's just it's a great honor. Yeah, it's just it's very, very special. There's a lot of names in there that I look up to. Guys like Doug Mader and Jim Sissons and people like that. They were just so many good people in there, and more recently Scott Knapp and Dean Brown, and just good friends of mine like Colin, and I love it. Like it's very special, and I guess I was already kind of part of that community, but just to kind of this next level is just so cool and really an honor.
Your thoughts on the class? I mean, you've played so much golf lately with Brad. I'm sure now that he's been super competitive. Lindsay, another Regina guy who's just, one of our best that we've ever seen. Melody, who you're probably very close with at Royal Regina, and of course, Pat's probably made some officiating rules for your tournaments along the way as well. It's
probably didn't like some either.
Because
Brad makes me mad because here's a guy that takes up golf that late in life and is so good. It's very frustrating. Lindsay, what a special player he was and is, and he's got a great job now. I saw him a couple of years ago at Victoria Golf Club, and what a tremendous facility that is. But being able to play golf against Lindsay, being on a team with him, and seeing him play just at close contact, and just to watch the shots he hits and stuff. That's you just know when you're in the company of somebody special. They can just play so well, so consistently, and Lindsay's one of those guys, and for sure Melody and Pat, they're we need so many different aspects of people in this game that help out and play and officiate, and it's a big community, a big family, and I think the Saskatchewan family is especially special. Like it's just because there's just so many good people that. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, when we play in a tournament, you look at the draw sheet, and you can't wait to see what the draw sheet says, because you're looking forward to who you're going to play with, and so when like a Brad or a Colin shows up that you're playing with them the first day, or a Randy Gilowich or whoever, you just go, yes, I got a good group, but you don't often say I got a bad group because there's so many good people to play with. And
for sure.
Yeah, so it's just the whole community is together, whether or not they're Hall of Fame inductees or just long-term people who've just given so much back to the game, and maybe haven't been recognized because no one nominated them.
You've probably still got something. Your winning isn't done though, is it? I mean, it's a young class for the most part, and you'd probably like to add to that resume, wouldn't you?
I don't know. It's like this year was a really weird year because. I played the least amount of golf since I was actually injured in 1996, and maybe played 3 or 4 rounds of golf the entire year, and so it was an odd year, and I need to play golf in order to play well. Like I need some repetition, and so I started out playing this year really well. Coming out of we played a fair amount of indoor golf last year, and the swing actually felt pretty good coming into the year, and then then I played like once a week or once every 2 weeks, and I actually progressively got worse through the year. So, so I don't know. I think I just need to maybe play a bit more before I start thinking about any more competitions.
That's great. Again, in September, hopefully we're going to get a chance for you to, to see that speech and enshrine you and hear the thanks. But just right now, if there's any thanks you just want to throw out there, I'm sure the list is lengthy.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's a long one, but I just family is so important for everybody in this game to have support at home. So my wife Jill, she just pushes me out the door almost. Like I feel guilty at times that I'm going to play a game of golf on a weekend or on a Friday morning when we could be heading off camping or something or whatever. But yeah, so she's been just a huge help and just really just made it easy for me to play golf, like too easy at times. My parents, like I mentioned, my mom dropping us off in the morning to go play golf, and then dad picking me up at the end of the day, playing a lot of golf with him over the years. They're just all very special people that we all need to succeed. And then of course my company that I work for, they're very supportive. They want me out seeing people playing golf with golf professionals at men's nights and things like that, and just securing those relationships and stuff. And so I think there's no better way to spend quality time with somebody is on the golf course. You learn whether they're honest or not. You learn how they conduct themselves through adversity, and so no, golf is amazing, and so it's been really good. Working for a company that really kind of supports our golf course partners, and so just I feel very comfortable playing golf on my job, because it's not necessarily part of my job, but I think it really helps secure, I don't know, just that trust of back and forth with people that spending some time together.
Well, fantastic stuff, KR. It's great to chat with you today and just learn a little bit more again. Just so you know, it's always just talked about wins, but it's going back a long way. That's great. And 2020 Hall of Famer. It has a nice ring to it. You're one of the good ones.
Thanks, pal. It's really appreciated. It's been one of the great things about this nomination is that I've heard from a lot of people that I over the year, like I maybe haven't heard from for 5 or 10 years, and they reached out and sent me some nice notes. So that's I get to see, my regular guys, I see them all the time, and once the next day it's old news. But to see people or hear from people that I haven't heard from for 5 or 10 years, it's been really cool to kind of just reignite some conversations with people that I really care a lot about.